Hey everybody, a cubby, a bookcase to any spec. Awesome, that's what we do here at Cubby Craft. Let's get into it. Here I'm going to show you how to put one of these together.
Here's what you're going to need. You're going to need to get some glue and a screwdriver. We'll supply the screws and more screws if you have a cleaning system. A drill driver is great, but not necessary. What's crucial are the cam bolts and cam nuts, which you see here, and we'll supply those for your project. All right, let's move on.
Hopefully you've gotten your package from us. All the parts are nice and safe and snug. So when you get this, you'll notice these roughed out ones. This is the cleaning system. Let's put that to the side. All the panels that have these slots, these are the vertical inner dividers. So let's save those off. Okay, this gets to the back. I like to start with the back, especially if you've ordered a larger cubby. To get this, to ship this out to you, we obviously break these panels up with a tongue and groove system. And we orient the part up and down. You'll see an arrow in the dados. There's actually a lot of information in the dado pieces that you won't see, obviously, when you assemble a cubby. So this is arrow up, so this must be the bottom piece. Can't really get this part wrong. It's like a big two-part puzzle. And you might even have 2 or 3 parts. But for this demo, we're keeping it simple. All right, let's go back to your middle divider pieces. And a little explanation. So you look at the orientation, you're going to have, it looks like 2 horizontal pieces. Now the horizontal pieces always, the slots are always to the back. So they're going to seat in to the back with these slots. And then the verticals, they'll always have the slots going towards you. And what I've done, let's see, I have numbered these. So you'll probably get a little dot and you'll match it to whatever dot you have in the dado here. So I have 2 dots, and I also want to make sure the orientation is up. So that looks good. And you kind of want to just roughly line it up, the slot to the dado. You could just do it rough for now. Also, one other thing, you always want, on the vertical dividers, you always want that finished part of the tab to be to the left. So the cut part of the tab goes to the right. I hope that's helpful. All right. So now we've seated our 2 pieces, 2 vertical pieces, and now we'll come in with the horizontal dividers. Same thing with the horizontal dividers, I'm sorry, is you want that finished edge to be below.
So this is looking for number 1, since we only have, so that's probably the number 2. I haven't made a good pile for myself, because now I'm already looking for my, oh, here it is, number 1.
So that's going to correspond to the number 1 here and we're just going to slide that in. Be kind of careful. These pieces are a little sensitive when they're all by themselves, but once they get locked in and glued, they're pretty indestructible. All right, so you don't have to go crazy here. Just sometimes these pieces bow a little bit just to the nature of wood, but you can you'll easily tell they'll just seat right in. All right, it's already taken shape. We're like a minute in. Incredible. You'll notice that the vertical pieces usually seat in a little deeper than the horizontal part. I do that on purpose just to give a nice little reveal. You know, something nice. All right, now let's go to the little bit of a tricky part. I've got some screw holes in the back of this thing. I want this thing to be fairly stable while we put in the perimeter pieces. So let's go do that now.
All right, what I forgot to do here, or show you, is the glue. If you're confident and you've dry fit this previously, you can start adding some glue. Just reverse a couple steps and get access to the dados. And you just want a nice little bead of glue on all the slots. And then reposition your dividers again. Okay, at this point you can go in and start screwing everything together from the back. And we'll supply this, as I mentioned before, we'll supply the Torx screws. I love Torx. You don't have to put much pressure on them to get them to go. They're like a little gear wheel, as you'll see. Let's take a closer look. Oh, wrong direction. Let's get that right. Okay. Good. Alright, just find a couple and start screwing away, securing that thing. Okay. Find the other holes. Start getting those screws in.
So now we got the back screwed on. We could mess around with this a little bit, gives us some freedom to move. Now we want to put together the perimeter pieces, and we want to prep them, and we'll get the cam bolts going on them. That's the next step. Now we're going to supply you. Here are the cam bolts as we went through earlier. And I'm gonna need you to hand put these in because they're already pre-drilled or pre-threaded. And I don't want you to blow out the thread, so just go easy. Have some wine, beer maybe. I can't do that here because I have heavy machinery that I'm about to run later. So it's all about being responsible. And take your screwdriver and just make sure each one is seated. This is the not so sexy part, really. But it's all going to come together and be fantastic. I'll probably be speeding this part up. Okay, that's it. Now the major construction can begin. Major assembly.
Okay, now at this point, I'm going to take some scrap or some books and get the cubby up a little bit, at least about a 3/4 of an inch. So you'll have easy access to the back panel and the dados. Now, as always, it's a great idea to add some glue to your back dado and divider slots. If you want to dry fit this first, it's definitely recommended. At this point, you could raise it up and let gravity do some of your work. The next will be the top. As you can see here, I had a little bit of a challenge to getting the back panel in, but I just backed out the screw and it slipped right in, as you can see. Now it's on to the top panel. And we'll run some glue. Flip it and put that thing in. Now we can move on to the side panels, left and right. If you have a larger cubby here, you want to start from the middle. You can kind of see that I'm doing that now, but it's such a small cubby, you don't really notice. Alright, let's just slam that into shape. There it is. Now let's show you how easy it is to install the cam nuts. There's an open part on the cam nut that receives the top part of the cam bolt. And it just slips there. Find that keyway, and then you simply righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Just a half turn will do it. Okay, here we have the cleating system. The one that will be attached to the cubby will have corresponding holes for the smaller screws. And then the smaller cleat will be actually attached to the wall that will mate to the larger cleat. I'll go into depth on that in later videos.
All right, that's the basics on assembly. Go out there, get yourself a cubby. All sorts of materials. There's no particle board here. This is cubby craft.